beautiful performance. And I'm sure the audiences liked it as well. Your claps in between the performance was really encouraging. Thank you. To take the program further, I was reminded of a quote backstage. Mother Teresa once remarked, "If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to one another." The Meher Baba Foundation for Peace and Social Upliftment seeks to instill this very feeling of belongingness by rendering service to the most marginalized and disadvantaged sections of the society, both in rural and urban India. This service will be provided irrespective of religion, caste, or color. Of course, we will have Ms. Rupam Nangia coming on stage, the founder convener of the foundation, and telling us in greater detail as to what the foundation stands for and the areas of work, if I may use the word, that we have shortlisted for ourselves. But before I call her on stage, a few words about her. Ms. Nangia has more than 20 years of experience in the corporate world, and her experience, or rather her areas of expertise, include corporate social responsibility, HIV interventions at workplace, training on soft skills, organizational behavior and development, capacity building for government and non-government organizations, and social entrepreneurship as well. Ms. Nangia has also written a lot of columns in English newspapers in her career and has also done a lot of professional writing. She's also had a brilliant academic career, ladies and gentlemen. She was a gold medalist at the graduation level and a distinction holder at the post-graduation level from the University of Bombay. She was also the holder of the government's merit scholarship at the postgraduate level. Since communication and human relations formed the core areas of her expertise during her career, it was a pretty logical decision to enter the field of service and today launch this foundation and take it to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to call on stage Ms. Rupam Nangia and tell us in greater detail about the foundation.
Thank you, Jay. Good evening, friends. A very warm welcome to each one of you here today. It's such a pleasure to see you here today at the launch of the Meher Baba Foundation for Peace and Social Upliftment. It is a moment of pride and joy for me to stand here before you and talk about this foundation and its future plans, because I have been breathing, living, and thinking of this foundation for so many months now. There is a moment in everyone's life when the door opens and the future lets in. For me, that moment is today and now, a defining moment of my life. Our foundation is a not-for-profit, non-government organization, and it is not affiliated to any religious or political organization. Our vision says that we stand for service to the most disadvantaged and marginalized sections of society, irrespective of caste, color, religion, or any such factors. The foundation cherishes the values of honesty and selfless service and is obligated to those whom it wishes to serve. The birth of this foundation has had its moments of labor pains, acute and excruciating on some days. But like any new mother will tell you, it all appears well worth it today. The pain and anxiety is gone, and it has been replaced by a sense of joy, hope, and anticipation. every candle lit, every home, bridge, cathedral, city ever built, every act of human kindness, advancement, artistry, bravery starts in the mind of someone and works itself out. So also with this foundation. It started with an idea, with a name, and we tried to give it a soul, a logo, a vision, an aim, an identity which we now call our own. The foundation is trying its best to be realistic in its planning, and we are hoping to do what we can in the best possible manner from where we are and what we have. With a committed and dedicated team, we are sure that we will be able to serve large populations and not be restricted by geographical or physical boundaries of cities and states. Our first area of intervention that we have identified is in the area of rural development. We have picked on a cluster of 6 tribal villages in Junar Taluka, Pune district. As you probably know, Junar is about 100 kilometers from Pune and 20 kilometers from Narayangaon, which is along the Pune-Nasik highway. These villages that I am talking about are about 35 to 40 kilometers in the interiors of Junar. My visits to this region have been an eye-opener. I had identified these villages with a lot of work done with the government agencies. But what I saw was distressing and amazing. There is nothing called water supply or drinking water to these villages. There is the presence of MSCB, but hardly any electricity worth talking about. There is no primary health center. There is no primary school. And even the road that leads one from Junar town to Hirve Gaon, which is the first village from amongst these cluster, there's no road. I mean, there's nothing called a road. These villages are at a height of 1,000 meters above sea level, and the only means of transportation on this broken down road is a jeep, which has to be driven by an experienced driver. The only thing that is present in these villages are mobile phones. Each of the villagers had a handset and a mobile phone that worked, which means that most of the mobile service providers have made a base there and they have a loyal customer following in these villages. The mobile service providers have been able to access these remote areas, while other agencies have not been able to do so and provide for any amenities to the villagers which are rightfully theirs. It is an example of great connectivity to the world without any surface transport. It can serve actually as a good advertisement for the mobile service providers. And I would have laughed and passed it off as a joke had it not been so sad. It is a pity. It is something which deeply hurt me to think that we don't have a road and the villagers are therefore in some ways totally immobile. The twists and turns of our story of development is the same as the road to Hirvegaon. Broken, difficult, treacherous, and I would say in some ways an area and our people, our brethren who have been totally neglected by society. The foundation is committed to work with the villagers in these 6 villages. Our first priority is the road. The rebuilt road, we believe, will rebuild these villages, will rebuild the future of these villagers, because improved transportation, cheap transportation, would mean better means of livelihood, better access to health facilities, better access to medical facilities, and the ability for the villagers to move to other villages or towns for employment. The second area of intervention that we have identified for ourselves is with the street children in the urban areas. We want to start with Pune. These street children are children who have been abandoned, orphaned, or destitute. These are children you see on the traffic signals begging or selling flowers, trying to clean your car, selling balloons, whatever. These children sleep on the streets. These children live on the streets. In India, we have over 3 million children who live on the streets. We have grown immune to these sights, which would spell doom to any society, and particularly a society which calls itself civilized and spiritually awake. The foundation is keen to work on 2 areas with these children. The first being trying to meet the nutritional needs of these children through 2 square meals a day, and the other is to help them access the health services. We hope to be able to do this before we plan a more comprehensive program for the street children. The third area of intervention that we have identified is with the disabled youth. We are keen to enable the differently abled to be able to lead a life of dignity and self-respect. The foundation hopes to provide them with vocational training so that they can be self-employed or they can find employment themselves. We hope that the vocational training provided would make them financially independent. There are several NGOs represented here this evening in this hall and doing commendable work, and we hope to join their ranks today. We are also hopeful that the army that is being built to fight the ills of society is larger and stronger than the ills themselves. The magnitude and complexity of the problems that face us are intimidating and overwhelming on some days. But we are confident that with your support, with your time, with your skills, with your talents, and with some funds, we will make inroads and achieve what we have set out to do. I assure you, my intention is not to build our reputation on work which we haven't really started. I'm keenly aware that the road ahead means hard work, more hard work, and more hard work with a lot of heart and soul. This foundation is a salute to the avatar of the age, Meher Baba. We are confident that he whose name we have borrowed for our foundation will inspire and bless us as we go along the way. I read some beautiful lines which left me with a sense of optimism, and I want to share those with you. The auction room was crowded. People were pushing to see. An old violin covered with dust was going for $3. Gently wiping the surface and tightening up the strings, a man played a melody, pure and sweet as an angel sings. From $3, the price went higher. $3,000, the final bid. There were people who cheered and there were people who were happy. But there were those who cried and said, "What changed the worth of this old violin? We do not understand." The answer to this mystery is, it was the touch of the master's hand. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.